Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, How You Figure. I'm Justin, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 Hot Toys figures that I think are being overlooked right now that shouldn't be. Stay tuned. So we're going to jump right into this again. These are 5 figures, Hot Toys figures, that I think are being overlooked right now and that shouldn't. So let's jump right into it. All right, so the first figure we're going to be looking at here is Neytiri from Avatar: The Way of Water. I think that honestly, if I was to be honest with you, it's going to be hard to get one without the other, so I'm also going to throw in Jake in this one as well. I just think that these are 2 figures that are kind of being overlooked right now. It's from a huge movie in Avatar, from a huge franchise. There's going to be more of them, so you're probably going to have an opportunity to get more figures from this film franchise, obviously, but to have these on the shelf with hype for upcoming movies, and then when those movies start getting hyped with trailers and all this other stuff, having those on your shelf I think is like really cool and valuable. So I definitely think these are going to be 2 extremely popular figures. They're waitlisted at a lot of places, Sideshow, a lot of places that you would maybe shop for your figures. I'm not really sure if you miss out on these what they would go for, you know, on eBay and stuff like that, but I just think these are 2 that I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about. I think these figures, these Avatar figures, actually are going to look really good on the shelf. I think they're really going to stand out. I think they're going to, if you're a fan of Avatar, I think these are must-owns. If you're a big fan of Avatar, even if you're a fan of Avatar, like I'm going back and forth on if I'm going to get these figures or not. Neytiri would be the one that I'd want the most out of the 2. But I think that both, you know, again, it's going to be hard to get one without the other. I think they pair very well together. It's kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, you'd probably want both in your display. So I just think that this is one that's being overlooked right now and that shouldn't. And I think you should start paying attention because I could see this one getting released very soon. So definitely keep your eyes on this one and don't overlook this one. I think this one's going to end up looking really good and will be a valuable piece to your collection. We're going to go to the next one. This one, I think the reception to the movie is making this one of the more overlooked figures coming out this year, and that is Thor from Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm picking out the deluxe version because you get that incredible helmet with the lightning effects. You get the different sleeves and a little bit different chest piece. It looks like there's some different things on the chest piece. I think that this is a must-own figure if you're a fan of Thor. I'm a huge fan of Thor. As badly as I want a Thor from the original Avengers, I don't want to go back and get that older version of the figure. Even though I still think it looks pretty good, I'm hoping we get a 2.0 of that eventually. So we'll see. Or even a Thor from the original Thor movie. I'll take either one. But this, to me, is going to be, without a doubt, head and shoulders the best Thor to come out. The Toy Fair exclusive, I believe, from Ragnarok, right now to me is probably the best looking Thor figure. I think this one will even be better than that. I just think that this figure looks fantastic. This, again, the deluxe version, having that ability in there, again, if you're not a fan of the movie and you have to like movies to, or have to like the movie to have it in your collection, I totally get that. This is what's kind of keeping me from getting, you know, this is why I'm a little bit on the fence as well, but I'm definitely going to get this figure just because I love Thor so much and I love Chris Hemsworth's portrayal of the character. Those arms look incredible. You know, you get Stormbreaker. It already shows coming soon an additional accessory. I actually like the base. You get a lot of hands. I just think this figure is going to be absolutely phenomenal. The cape looks great. The head sculpt looks insanely good. I know a few people think that there's eventually going to be a Thor Artisan Edition. Obviously, when that comes out, that's going to be a very sought-after figure. But I do think that this one is getting overlooked strictly because the reception of the movie Love and Thunder. But I do not think you should overlook this figure, especially if you're a fan of Thor. I think that this will be the best Thor to date. We're going to stick with Marvel. We're going to stick with the MCU. And this one, I believe, is getting overlooked simply because we have we have a lot of lines that come out of this franchise. We have one coming out later this year. We were teased that we would get this in a Drax, and this referring to Mantis. There was, you know, I don't think we're even going to get those figures anymore. I'm not sure anymore. They still haven't been announced from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So this one, I believe, is being overlooked because you can have both the holiday special look and the look from the, you know, from Guardians, from Infinity War, basically her costume out of every movie that she's been in. I just think that this is one that is a must own. If you're a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, if you have a Guardians of the Galaxy line, this is a must own because of the versatility of the figure. Not only does it look great, but it's a holiday special. I think this is probably the only holiday special figure we're going to get, and that makes it valuable in and of itself. I love the candy cane accessory. I love the Christmas sweater. I love the base. This is just putting me in the Christmas spirit looking at it. Not only that though, like even with that, I think the figure would be worth getting. You get to have the original costume, which would go, this would work with so many different lines that you have. If you're having an Infinity War line, it'll work. If you're having a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 line, it'll work. It'll work in a lot of different things. Plus you get that added benefit of the holiday special costume. I just think this figure is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait for it to be released. I think it's going to, just like I said with the Avatar figures, I think this one is going to release very soon. And now that we don't know if we're going to get a Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think people are going to really want this one even more because of the original outfit. And yeah, the more I look at it, the more I like this figure. And I love the versatility that you'll have by putting it in different lines, in different displays on your shelf. So very excited to get Mantis. And the next one, I think this one's being overlooked as well. I think we're overlooking Mace Windu a little bit. Mace Windu is a phenomenal character. It's portrayed by an incredible actor, a very huge personality in Samuel L. Jackson. I understand some of the issues that people have with the figure. I know a lot of people have been kind of questioning the head sculpt. I know a lot of people don't think it comes with enough stuff. I actually like how you can use it as a Clone Wars. You can also use it as an Attack of the Clones. There's a lot of different variety with this one as well. And I just think it's getting overlooked kind of because I don't see it waitlisted yet. And I think this is a figure that's going to be coming out soon. And I think if you want to have this figure, you might want to go ahead and pre-order it now because it's Star Wars, man. I mean, this figure is going to get waitlisted sooner rather than later. As soon as this drops, I think people are kind of waiting to see what it looks like in person, in hand, before they pre-order it, which is a good idea. But I think it's being overlooked. Out of all these, you know, we've had so many Star Wars stuff coming out lately. We've had the C-3PO from Return of the Jedi. We just got released the Darth Vader battle damage from the Kenobi show. We just had Padme released. So there's so much Star Wars stuff right now that it's hard to keep up, and I think people are having to make decisions where to put their money, and that's totally understandable. But I definitely think if you're a Star Wars fan, and especially if you're collecting Attack of the Clones, I think you got to have this figure. I think this is a must-have figure if you're having an Attack of the Clones line, even a Clone Wars line. Those different styles, I'm not sure, but I just think that this is a figure that's going to be a must-own for me. I think it's one that if you're a big fan of the prequel trilogy, if you're a fan of that stuff, this is one that you need to have, and I feel like it's being overlooked, so I definitely would look into picking up Mace Windu or pre-ordering it sooner rather than later. The next one, we're going to stick with the Star Wars universe, and we are going to close this out, or are we? Because we have a bonus one after this one, so we're going to have one more after this one, so stick around after this one. And real quick, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you love all things Hot Toys, 6 scale, figure news, all that different stuff. I love to talk about all that stuff on here, trying to grow my channel, trying to get into the community as much as possible. So definitely hit that like button and leave me a comment. Let me know which figure you think is being overlooked right now. But we're going to get right into it with the Bad Batch, and we're going to go with tech here. The reason I think this one's getting overlooked is because I feel like there's going to be a time where people are collecting Bad Batch. The season 3 just started. I'm not going to even lie to you. I don't even really watch the Bad Batch. I've watched a couple episodes. I just started it. Haven't really gotten super into it yet. I've heard a lot of good things. But just from a fan perspective of Star Wars, this figure looks incredible. Like, this is my favorite out of the Bad Batch figures. This one looks great. It's got 3 different styles of display that you can see right there with the helmets. It just looks phenomenal. I mean, the head sculpt looks great. I love the character of Tech. I love the way he looks, how you can display him 3 different ways. I think his armor and his outfit and his accessories, all that stuff just looks phenomenal. Here's some of the accessories again. I think that this is going to be an incredible figure. I think it's going to be the best figure of the Bad Batch, and I think it's going to be one that you're going to want in your collection. Because again, one or two of these figures from the Bad Batch, because everybody's going to want to collect. No, nobody's going to want to just have one character of the Bad Batch. They're going to want to have all 5. And there's going to come a time where 1 or 2 of these figures are going to go up in value big time on the secondary market, just because people are going to want to collect the whole line. So we always see that with whole lines, you know, like team type characters that, you know, it's all or nothing type of teams, like where you want to have every character in that team. And Tech to me just looks the coolest. I think he's got the best accessories. I think he's got the best look. And I just think that this is a figure that's going to look phenomenal. So if you're a fan of the Bad Batch, or you're just getting into the Bad Batch, do not overlook this Tech figure, because I think you're going to regret it, because this figure is going to look phenomenal. And our bonus one, we've already done our 5, but we're going to do one more bonus one, because you know how I do it on this channel. I say we're going to do 5. We've already done 6 because I put Jake in there as well on the avatar. But this one, we're going with the WASP. Okay? This figure looks great. I don't think we're talking enough how great this Evangeline Lilly head sculpt looks. This looks incredible, man. I mean, this head sculpt right here looks absolutely phenomenal. It's got the separate rolling eyeballs. It's got different... I mean, look at that. It even comes with a little Ant-Man. The reason I have her on here and not Ant-Man is because I still think that head sculpt on Ant-Man looks a little off. I think it looks way better than the first one. Still looks a little bit off on that one. But obviously, if you have Ant-Man, you're going to want to have the Wasp. Or if you have Wasp, you're going to want to have Ant-Man. So I love how they added the little versions of the characters in there for people that might just want a Wasp and a little Ant-Man to go with it. That way you can still have that representation on your shelf. This figure looks incredible. This one looks way better than the Ant-Man and the Wasp figure from the movie. I just love the colors. I love the yellow. I think this is going to pop. I think this is going to look extremely good on your shelf. This might be one of the last Evangeline Lilly Wasp figures we get for a while. So I definitely think this is one to pick up. Again, I think it's being overlooked. I don't think it's going to be tough to pick this one up, but I do think we're overlooking it a little bit. And it's just one that I think is, again, the reception to Quantumania was kind of mixed. And I think that's why this one's being overlooked. But in terms of a figure, in terms of a representation of a character, I think that this will be the essential Wasp figure from the MCU that you're going to want to have on your shelf. It just looks like it's going to pop off the shelf, and it's going to be a great addition to any MCU or Ant-Man display. So I definitely don't think you should overlook this one. All right, that was my 5 Hot Toys figures that I believe are being overlooked right now that shouldn't be. Let me know in the comments which ones you think are being overlooked. Let me know which ones out of the 5 or 6 or 7 that I just mentioned that you agree with. Maybe some that you think, yeah, you know, that figure is overlooked. Or maybe some that I mentioned that you're like, no, I don't think that's overlooked. I think people are really excited about that figure. I tried to pick ones that I'm not hearing a ton of hype for right now, that I feel like should have a little bit more hype, or figures that I think are going to look really good that people aren't really talking about. But I think once it releases and people get in the hand, they're like, man, that figure I was kind of sleeping on. I didn't realize it was going to look that good. So let me know in the comments what you think. Again, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you like this type of content. And again, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.